Hey there, 8th graders. So glad you're here. Let's jump right into today's explainer, because we've got a seriously fantastic topic lined up. Today, we're diving into Unit 3, Tracking Character Behavior Over Time. Now, whether you're reading a massive, epic fantasy, a gripping mystery, or a historical drama, the people on the page are literally the heartbeat of the story. But how do we truly understand them? How do we figure out what really makes them tick? Well, that is exactly what we're going to master today.
I want to kick things off by posing this pretty profound question straight to you. How do we know who someone really is? Just think about the mystery of true identity for a second. You can't just look at someone and instantly download their core values, or know if they're brave or if they're honest, right? People can easily say one thing and completely do another. So if words just aren't enough, what is the ultimate test of character?
Well, this absolutely brilliant quote from Matthew chapter 7, verse 16 gives us the answer. By their fruit, you will recognize them. I actually love to call this being a fruit inspector. Think about a tree for a minute. You don't judge an apple tree by its leaves or how cool its bark looks. You judge it by the apples it actually produces. And in the exact same way, we evaluate a person's true spiritual and moral character by their actions, their fruit. Over time, the things a person does consistently are always going to reveal who they truly are on the inside.
So, here is a quick roadmap for today's lesson. We're going to cover revealing true character, tracking the clues, 3 patterns of change, your homework assignment, and we'll wrap up with the godly learner.
Starting off with Section 1, Revealing True Character, where fiction mirrors reality.
That biblical truth we just talked about, being a fruit inspector in real life, actually applies perfectly to the literature we read. And that's because characters are not static. Static basically means staying the exact same, frozen in place like a statue. But well-written characters, just like actual human beings, develop when they face hard things. They make choices under intense pressure, and those choices have real consequences. By tracking their behavior, their actions over time, we start to uncover these hidden patterns that explain who they really are and what they've learned along the way. This is the skill that helps you spot major character arcs, massive turning points, and lasting traits. When you read this way, you aren't just looking at ink on a page, you are literally studying human nature.
Moving right along to Section 2, Tracking the Clues, How to Spot the Patterns.
All right, detective hats on, everyone. Being a great reader means being a totally active investigator. So here are your 3 foolproof steps for investigating characters' fruit throughout a plot. Step 1. Identify a character's first major action. How do they act the very first second we meet them? That establishes our baseline. Step 2. Watch for changes. Do they grow more confident, or do they stubbornly fall into the exact same traps over and over? And Step 3. Keep a timeline or a chart. As you read, just jot down their key behaviors. Sometimes the character changes in a flash because of a massive shocking event, and other times they evolve super slowly, chapter by chapter. Writing it down just helps you see the whole big picture.
But hold on. While sudden or slow changes are definitely vital to watch, you've got to pay super close attention to consistent traits. These are unchanging behaviors over time that reveal a character's deepest, most guarded core values. If a character is constantly giving up their own comfort to help other people, from Chapter 1 all the way to Chapter 20, that consistent trait is like a massive neon sign pointing straight to their true, unshakable identity. It turns out, what doesn't change is just as revealing as what does.
Let's look at Section 3, 3 patterns of change, examples in action.
Let's see how this whole thing actually works in the stories you're reading right now. Our first pattern is gradual change. Take a look at Liam's timeline here. In week 1 of the story, his first major action is literally refusing to speak in class. He is terrified. But fast forward to week 8, and his action is volunteering to lead a debate. I mean, that is a night and day shift. If we track the clues in between those 2 points, we see that his confidence grew little by little because he practiced and had awesome supportive friends cheering him on. The fruit changed because the tree was nurtured. Make sense? Our second pattern is no change, and this one brilliantly illustrates the absolute danger of stubbornness. Imagine reading a story about a super selfish ruler. On one hand, he is constantly getting incredibly wise advice from his counselors. But on the other hand, we see his completely unchanging behavior. He just ignores it every single time to serve his own greed. His behavior doesn't budge an inch. And by tracking that consistent negative fruit, we can easily predict that his stubbornness is going to lead straight to a massive downfall. It reinforces the entire theme of the story.
Now, our third pattern is honestly a bit more realistic for a lot of us. Back and forth change. Let's say we're tracking a detective through a gritty mystery. Point 1, they totally doubt their own ability. Point 2, they solve a tiny clue and gain a little confidence. But then, bam, point 3 hits. A massive setback happens, the villain gets away, and the detective loses all their confidence all over again. Finally, at point 4, they recover and actually solve the case. Tracking this up and down fluctuation shows us a much deeper truth about how external events, like totally blowing a mission, interact with a character's internal beliefs. It's a total roller coaster, but man, does it reveal their resilience.
On to Section 4, your homework assignment. Time to apply what you've learned.
You guys are now fully equipped to be literary detectives on your own. So I want you to practice evaluating the fruit of the characters in the book you're currently reading. Here are your 5 tasks. I highly encourage you to hit pause on this explainer right now and write these down. Number 1, list 3 major actions of your chosen character. Number 2, describe one distinct change in their behavior over time. Number 3, identify one behavior or trait that stayed exactly the same. Number 4, explain what specific event in the plot actually caused that change in behavior. And number 5, discuss how this overall pattern of behavior supports the big underlying theme of your story. I honestly can't wait to see the incredible insights you guys come up with.
Finally, Section 5, the Godly Learner. Let's talk about why this matters for your life. Now you might be sitting there wondering, why in the world does tracking character behavior in some made-up fictional book matter for my actual real life? Well, it connects directly to the core philosophy here at HeroesMart Academy. You see, education without morality just makes you capable. But being highly capable without being wise, that's actually dangerous. It can cause real hurt in the world. Now contrast that with education with biblical morality. We purposefully intertwine biblical truth with our academic studies because it equips us to make wise, God-honoring choices. Knowledge and intelligence should help you choose wisdom, not just make you smart. Think of tracking character in books as training wheels for life. It trains your brain to recognize good and bad fruit so that you can go out and cultivate righteous character in your own everyday life.
I want to leave you with this incredible encouragement from Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7. The mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. As you pursue academic excellence this week, as you study these characters and dive into your assignments, my challenge to you is this. Keep your mind totally centered on God, on truth, on wisdom, and on righteous choices. Because when your mind is spiritually focused, the fruit you produce in the world will literally be life and peace. So, what kind of fruit are your actions producing today? Think about that as you tackle your reading. Have an absolutely amazing week, keep analyzing those characters, and I will see you in the next explainer.